All right, welcome everybody. I am so thrilled to be sharing this Spring Community Health Reset informational Zoom with you today with my co-host Michelle. You're going to get to hear some amazing stories from her and wisdom. And we just want to really honor your time. Whoever invited you to hear this really loves you because we have something that is such a gift, is giving people their vitality, giving them hope for longevity in their life, for feeling good, for having energy, for overcoming a lot of challenges that are easy to have in this world. And I'm going to talk about why and then the solutions that we have. So we're a passionate community, as you'll get to see. Yeah, we're so happy that you've come here, and I invite you to get active in the chat. If you have stories from this lifestyle, please share stories. If you're new or you're just hearing about it for the first time, we welcome you to ask questions, and we're just really thankful that you took the time to be here. Feel free also to tell us where you're tuning in from. So this is the third of the informational Zooms that we've done about this Spring Community Health Reset that is starting tomorrow. But it doesn't mean that you have to be ready to start tomorrow. It's actually, as you'll learn, there'll be an opening to begin through a longer period of time. So Big Island, Indiana, I think Vermont, and then Michelle's all the way down in Ecuador, which is amazing. So let's get started. What are we here to talk about? Well, we're here to talk about transforming lives through premium nutrition and community accountability. And that is really what this spring transformation is all about, for people who are supported by the encouragement of their peers, the accountability, cheering each other on, sharing testimonials. That's what this container is all about. Springtime is a very powerful time of year to really go through a detox process and clean out our filters. And we're going to get into how that works. And we're going to be talking about this nutrition. So this isn't a fast. It's not an insane cleanse where you have to be hungry or anything. We are flooding ourselves with nutrition as a form of self-care, of giving to ourselves, so that when the body receives what it needs, it can then let go of anything it's been holding on to. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about my story when I found this 7.5 years ago. I thought, and these pictures on the left here are the last pictures that were taken of me before I found these superfoods. I thought I didn't need anything like this. I thought I'm pretty healthy. I eat organic. I grow my own food. I'm doing I get exercise, fresh air, sunshine, all the things. So probably any symptoms I have probably can't really be improved upon anyway. So this is probably just the signs of aging. That's honestly what I thought. Everything was pretty minor. I didn't have any acute symptoms. So I was willing to settle for feeling the way I did. I had had two children, and I was living, if you can see the clutter in the background, I was living a pretty chaotic life at the time. I have a smile on my face, and it probably looked from the outside like everything was okay. But inside, and if I got really honest with myself at the time, my energy was low. I woke up daily with a mild state of depression. I had skin rashes that would break out constantly, and I had had that my whole life. I had digestive issues my entire life. I had brown and black striations in my teeth. All of this was indicating mineral and nutrient deficiencies. I was depleted. And from having children, we can call it postpartum depletion. I didn't even know that concept existed until, and like I said, I was skeptical. I didn't think I needed these superfoods or that they could do anything for me. But literally within days, I started to feel the impact of these superfoods. I had so much energy, aches and pains went away, like joints that had aches and pains. The sluggishness went away. I had this joy in my heart. I woke up out of bed feeling this new hope and this new lease on life and vitality. my bloating, constipation, and gas that I had experienced my entire life went away. It was mind blowing. And it was far more than I ever hoped for. I felt so deeply nourished in a way that I had never experienced. And I had tried all the diets, vegan, raw vegan, vegetarian, full meat, full animal products. Like I had done it all. And I had never felt as deeply nourished, grounded, and strong as I did with these superfoods. That's the other thing. I started to become athletic because I had all this energy and I was building lean muscle and losing that extra weight from having had babies and all the things. So I had to find out what was it about these superfoods that was so powerful? What made the difference? And what I came to find out is the soil. So the soil that these products are grown in is what is known as the 1% of soils on the planet. 99% of soils on the planet nowadays have been proven to be basically depleted of the minerals and nutrients that they once had 100 years ago and earlier. So that means that 99% of our food is depleted, which means 99% of our humanity is walking around depleted. Um, and you can research all of this on the internet. There's all kinds of, this is just one graphic I took from the internet, but there's so many graphics showing the mineral depletion and the nutrient depletion in soil over the years, and it's drastic. And just to give you another visual of what does that actually mean, um, it would take eating this many bowls of spinach in these years. I mean, this is 1997, so just imagine where we're at now to get the amount of iron. In this graphic, it's the amount of iron content in one bowl of spinach from, previous years. So just take this graphic and expand it. It's even more extreme now. Somebody told me you'd have to eat 100 carrots to get the mineral content and the nutrient content of one carrot 100 years ago, or maybe it's less than that. And that's just not possible. Like we can't eat that many carrots or spinach. And so we have to really find solutions because the problem is that mineral deficiencies lead to health issues, and that's widely known. It's widely known among scientists and researchers, but not necessarily amongst the public. So that's a big thing to look at is, what are we doing to our soils as a nation? And just so you understand how does it get depleted, it's by constantly farming it over and over and over and not replenishing by putting in organic matter, compost, green manuring, manure, all the things that rebuild the soil, that give nutrients back in, that help the microbiome of the soil flourish, the mycelium network flourish. So those are the things as a farmer we're doing with our land. But when we got there, it was also depleted. And that's why just trying to grow my own food wasn't enough. So mineral and nutrient depletion in soil is the first. The second is that we are over poisoning our soils. So drop a 2 in the comments if you're familiar with this concept of over toxicity in soils. There's pesticides, there's herbicides, there's chemical fertilizers used in most agriculture. And, glyphosate is a major issue. So that's the one I'm going to bring attention to. It's also known as Roundup. And there's been a global campaign, propaganda, to get people normalized with the use of Roundup, telling us it would be safe. And, I have a whole slideshow if you ever want to see more about the ads that were used to convince the public that this was safe and fine and use it on your gardens. And, here's just, one of the ads, like, here, just spray it on your food. Why don't you? Like, that sounds great. And look at these people in these crazy protective hazmat suits spraying food crops. And it's become so normalized, and it's just, I could go on and on about it, but I'm not going to focus too much other than to share some more memes because I think they really do a great job. Here's farming before and after. Monsanto is the company now. Bayer, they're the ones who came out with Roundup. And Here's the meme that kind of says it all. Like, what's the safety of our current farming practices? And then here's a graphic that talks about how corn used to be 100% farmer owned. I mean, it used to be an indigenous staple sacred crop. And now it's 95% corporately owned, or at least 2016, over 90% GMO. And apparently you need to wear a hazmat suit to touch it. That's pretty frightening. And that's just corn. Um, so this is my favorite meme of all when we talk about glyphosate, the little critter saying, do you also need to eat these with that mask on? Or do you also eat these with that mask on? So, I think that really points to we're willing to spray the crops. And, one slide I don't have in here is about the workers and the people who have been, who have died, who have gotten cancer, and it's either millions or billions, drop a comment if you know, of money that Monsanto has had to pay out in lawsuits that they've lost on all these people who have gotten sick from glyphosate poisoning. So it's basically acts as a very intense antibiotic that kills off the gut microbiome and causes all kinds of inflammatory and autoimmune and issues and imbalances and all kinds of stuff. And we're going to talk about the solution to that soon. So why Purium? Purium is the superfoods company that we're here to share about. And when I talk about these superfoods, these are nutrient-dense superfoods that are to me such an incredible ally and solution in this day and age where it's so hard to be healthy, given the chemicals, given the depletion, and given when you go to the grocery store, it's so full of fake foods and over toxified foods and so many carcinogenic things that people don't even know where to start. So 100 years ago, we could just all go eat whatever was being grown. It was clean soil and clean water and everything came from the earth and it all made sense. And since the corporations have come in and the industrial farming and the chemicals and all this depletion and the ability to profit off of making people sick, we're in a crisis. And so Purium is an incredible source of solution because we are in that 1% where these soils come from an ancient lava lake where the mineral content is super high and it's been regeneratively farmed, meaning that they are putting in those nutrient inputs over and over, even letting fields go fallow so it can build up naturally, just mimicking nature. And you feel it. Drop a 5 in the comments if you've tried these products and you know what I mean. When you just drink one of these shakes and you feel like the light bulb get turned on, you feel like a balloon that just got blew up or a flower that just got quenched and came back to life. It's unlike anything else out there. Purium's organic Purium's organic, sustainably produced plant-based foods are great for the earth, great for your body. We'll talk more about the plastic that we've eliminated, but it's just an incredible. And for people who live in food deserts, meaning like they have very hard time accessing any real food, let alone organic food, let alone growing their own food. Maybe the only food they can reach is from conventional supermarkets or even gas stations. This is organic food that can be packaged and shipped right to your door, anywhere in North America or Europe. So that's incredible. And that is why we're so passionate about sharing about it. So when we go through the Purium program and we deeply nourish our bodies and we gently detoxify and let go of any toxins that we unavoidably are in contact with in this life, we start to experience a healthier gut and a healthier mind and deeper sleep and more energy and a healthier mood. And what does that make us? It makes us a greater contributor to society. We become more productive. Our cup is overflowing. We can give out to others. And so that's one of the reasons that we're so passionate about sharing about this because we want to light other people up. We want other people to have this experience and then, hope to make our society a better place with more productive people instead of how many people are suffering. So that's a big part of what's going on here. So let's talk about exactly what do you experience with our, and what we call it is our 90-day signature lifestyle subscription. So your box will look a lot like these 5 products that you see here. You're going to get your box, and I'm just going to briefly go over each one so you kind of get an idea of how they all would fit into your life. Now, like I said, this is not a deprivation program. You are not having to count calories or go hungry or be low energy and grumpy or anything like that. Those were my biggest concerns. I was like, I don't want to be hungry. So, drop a 1 if that resonates for you. But what we're actually doing is saturating ourselves with cellular nutrition. So the Power Shake is our basic nutritional shake that's also very alkalizing and very detoxifying. So it's like a green juice that has grasses and vegetables and algae and all these amazing, all this amazing life force that's going in, giving us energy, gently pulling out and cleaning out our filters and doing the things. And it's slow release. It's not like just a green juice, which for me, if I drink a green juice, I'm like, okay, great, but I'm hungry now. This has oats in it, and it helps to gently, kind of time release the energy. So it actually can feel kind of filling depending on your metabolism. It's still kind of just a snack for me because I have really high metabolism, but for some people, it can be a whole meal. And if you're like me, maybe you add it to a smoothie or you eat fruit with it or you combine it with other shakes. So you can get with a person that is sharing this with you. But the Power Shake is probably our most popular product and has been for, the longevity of this company, and is really yummy too. Just adding water. So it's super convenient as well. I'm going to move over to the super aminos. This is how we start our day. Every morning, wake up, I have lemon water and 5 aminos. And this is going to shift my body from wanting to go burn muscle as its source of fuel to instead start burning fat. The fat gets used as the source of fuel and you start to lose the fat, and then you build muscle. You get energy. It's brain food. It helps with skin elasticity. Super aminos are absolutely amazing. So if you're familiar with super aminos, and thank you for all these comments here. There's great things happening in the chat. Super aminos are incredible. Biomedic is the first and only product on the market that actually pulls glyphosate out of the gut. So we talked about glyphosate as the chemical compound in Roundup that damages the gut and we're hardly able to avoid it. It's everywhere. It's in organic food, it's in our water system, it's in the air, it's in the soil. This product goes in and helps pull it out. It then repopulates the gut microbiome and heals the gut villi, these little hairs that do the absorption and assimilation of food. So this is a really powerful product. Typically, people who use this within the first 2 weeks, if they've experienced bloating, which a lot of people do, I definitely did. I got asked if I was pregnant all the time when I wasn't. But within the first 2 weeks, the most common thing that people report is, oh my gosh, my bloating finally went away. So this is a very powerful gut microbiome pack. And then moving down to the Apothecary, this is going to be an elixir you take at night. It's 1 single ingredient, tart cherry concentrate. It is anti-inflammatory. It's it's the highest food that helps the body produce natural melatonin. So instead of taking synthetic melatonin, which isn't so great for you, you get to support the body to generate its own melatonin. You go into deep REM state and you're regenerating all the cells that got damaged during the day just from the typical stresses of being a human, cell phone use or, stress or whatever. Exercise, all the things. And then so you wake up all refreshed. You have this really deep sleep and you wake up really refreshed. And it's really high antioxidant. Moving over to Super Cleansar, this is another herbal formulation capsule that is going to flush out your colon over a 10-day period from parasites, candida, mold, fungus, and it's going to break up impacted fecal matter. So most of us are walking around with extra pounds of junk that's sitting in our colon from who knows how many years, undigested proteins and stuff that just has gotten stuck there, and we didn't have the proper support to eliminate it. So you're going to be able to flush that out, and that's amazing. So this is a something you'll do for a 10-day round, and then you'll do another 10-day round. So this is, you know, basically what the pack looks like, and we're really blessed to have access to this, and that's why we're sharing about it. Not only is the soil incredible, the purity standards are off the charts. We do not allow for any of all the things you can read there, including heavy metals, you know, nothing. And a lot of these organic companies, a lot of these superfood companies actually do test for glyphosate and heavy metals and will just tolerate some of it. And so to find a company that literally has zero is very rare and very special. So you can read all about it. We have an in-house microbiologist that's testing for this, and it's very easy to trust this company, the highest integrity. So the other thing I wanted to say is that our composting is plastic free. It's non-GMO, home compostable packaging, and it literally helps build soil. You can toss it in the trash and just know that it's going to melt into the landfill, and you're not contributing to the landfill. But if you can home compost it, you're actually building your soil quality. So you're regenerating your home garden when you add these. So that's amazing. We got rid of our plastic scoops. We're taking the higher road here on our consumerism as humans. So here's a few testimonials I just want to go over really quickly. Here's my friend Laura. In 90 days, I felt a continuous level of well-being and joy. I ran the Grin and Bear It uphill race and got 8th out of 86. No age category. I know she's over 60. Her hormones feel balanced. New level of brain clarity and calmness. This guy, Jeff, struggled to have any kind of muscle definition his whole life, and using these products, and especially the performance products, he's been able to do that. And then my friends Deanna and Dominique over here are just incredible spokespeople also for these products, and have amazing testimonials of, you know, just moving from the standard American diet onto plant-based. You don't have to be plant-based to be on this, but for a period of time, you can explore being plant-based on these products and then see what your body says to you. So as we continue to, as we continue to expand our reach, the world will become a better place. More people will become healthier, live longer, and lead more fulfilling lives. And so I want to pass it over to my friend Michelle, and I'm going to see if I can bring up, let's see, maybe if I stop.
Thanks, Christina.
Yeah, you go ahead, Michelle. So Michelle's amazing. She's going to start her story, and while she does that, I'm going to try to bring up her pictures so you can put a picture to the story.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And gosh, I get excited just listening to this every time you talk about it. It's really so much wonderful things have happened for me here. And so I grew up in an Italian family. I ate bread and pasta and cheese and meat and ice cream and Slurpees and candy bars. And I'm 54 years old right now, which you might be hard to believe. I didn't always look like this. I actually looked 60 when I was 40. And the reason is that when I was growing up, I was eating a standard American diet, was actually a national athlete, and I used to eat McDonald's every day on the way to gymnastics, which is really kind of unbelievable that I had quite a bit of stamina with such a poor diet. And once I got older and I moved to Colorado, I adopted a healthy lifestyle. I started on my pathway to become a practitioner. I was raising my son by myself, and we were active and really just crushing our lives. But then I ended up in a household that was a sick building, and I ended up with mold toxicity. They also, during the remediation, spilled asbestos while we were living in the house when they went to remediate. So we had a double whammy, and I was poisoned at biological warfare levels of toxicity. Nothing I had studied, nothing I had done, everything I had overcome in my life, all the inflammation I had gotten rid of in my body, all of everything that I had cleaned up in my life, none of it mattered. Nothing touched how sick I was. And I went from the top of my game, single mama, having the best time of my life with my son, active, to over 36 chronic and complex diagnoses. So let that sink in for a minute. My hair was falling out. It's just stopped growing at the base of my brainstem. I was in palliative care. I had Hashimoto's, Crohn's, fibromyalgia, IBS, IBD, Lyme and all of its co-infections, POTS. And to have one of these things, at the age of 40, we would think that's almost common. It's been normalized that it's part of getting older. And, as Americans, right, we chalk it up to getting old. So drop an 8 in the comments if you've ever heard that or thought to yourself that this is just part of me getting older and this is what life is like. But to wake up one day with over 36 chronic and complex diagnoses, I knew that this was just far beyond getting older. And I did not rest. Like, I just kept going until I found an answer, because there was just no way. I mean, I could not believe this was my life. And I went to Western, and I went to the top mold doctor and the top Lyme doctor in the country. And I was put on a lot of heavy binding, indiscriminate medical binders and medications that really left me further depleted. And really, as a matter of fact, 2 years into my treatment, I weighed only 90 pounds. I had rapid loss of bone density. I was breaking bones walking. And my husband hiked me out of just a day hike, 2 miles over his shoulders, because I snapped the tip of my fib off. And my hair was falling out. I couldn't think of words like seven or spoon or hold a conversation or talk to you the way I'm talking to you today. I lived in an Epsom salt bath. I lived in a dark room, 11 hours of the day. I couldn't go out. I couldn't buy groceries. I couldn't even carry groceries from the car if I went to go get groceries or walk into a store to buy Epsom salts, let alone get groceries, because of the multiple chemical sensitivity and the chronic fatigue that I was experiencing. They took my driver's license away. And I was really like a girl in a bubble in palliative care. And I knew, like I said, it couldn't be my life, and it couldn't be what I was put on this planet for at the age of 45. And that's when I really dug in and started looking around. And I was blessed to have a colleague and a friend who is an iridologist. She does eye readings, where she reads the iris of the eyes, and you can tell the congestion in the body, in the lymphatic system. And she was finding that the iris of my eyes were actually worse during treatment than before. And I had massive congestion and massive disease, and I was rapidly aging. And so I got to the point, I went through a court case, and my doctor said, listen, you went from 10% of a woman to 40% of a woman. So file for disability and call it a day and just learn to navigate your environment. Well, I mean, the diligence of living life like that was exhausting. And to say I was sick was an understatement. And that's when this colleague came to me and said, you really need to try this. And yes, there was a level of skepticism of, I've tried everything, I've done everything, I've worked with the best doctors. But really what I mean by skepticism is, like, I looked at the ingredients and I couldn't even eat half the ingredients in this. And I was down to really only 8 foods. And then it was explained to me that my body isn't going to see these ingredients, that because of, like Christina said, the wind and solar dehydration, growing in ancient lake beds, this care standard of testing on both sides of manufacturing, the quarantining of the foods when they come from the farm, the on-site biologist, that my body was only going to see this K2, this D3, the calcium, the magnesium, the deep phytonutrition, and it's going to take it in. And as we were speaking, I was drinking it. Now, prior to this, up until this point, I was going to the hospital no matter what I put in my body. It put something to my lips, it was cross-contaminated with something, and I was in the hospital once a month with severe responses to something. So the fact that I could sit here and talk with her for an hour and have the conversation and have no ramifications other than feeling like I was drinking liquid sunshine, there was a spark of hope for me and a spark of light. And this is what really prompted me to say, okay. And as I was talking to her and looking at some of the ingredients, Christina mentioned the Biomedic and this pre and probiotic and pulls the glyphosate out. And I just thought to myself, but this one thing, I really don't think I should have it. It's a probiotic, and with this inflamed digestive tract, it's really not good for me. And this whole time she's texting, and I asked her, she said, well, it takes a spore to kill a spore. And I said, well, that's true. I asked her, who's she texting? And she said, I'm texting the owner. I thought, wow, you have access to the owner? And she said, yeah, I've been to his land. I've actually been to see how these foods are made. People are in full PPE. It's really the highest standard of care, beyond organic, beyond what the FDA even mandates for testing. They go several levels beyond that. And so this is, again, where Christina showed that slide of purity and integrity. This is the only thing for me that it's really what was required for me to get better. I needed something deeper. I was already doing clean. I was already doing organic. And like I said, nothing touched this. So this was really going to sneak into the gut, give me the nutrition, and turn off the fight or flight that I was stuck in with my digestive tract. So I went on this healing journey. I took superfoods with me. I got my feet in the sand. I did some grounding. And within 3 months, I was a completely different person. Life transformed. When I came home, people didn't even recognize who I was. You can see now, and I don't know, Christina, did you get the picture up or no? I can't see the.
I tried. I'm not sure if anybody ever saw it, but it didn't look like it was working.
Okay, no problem. So in the slides, you can see my hair is frizzy. And now you can see that my hair is curly. It's nice and thick. My hair I'm just so proud of the work that I have done. My eyes are 4 shades lighter than when I started this work. And like I said, my hair was falling out. I can speak to you. I know all my words. I have my cognizance. I have my driver's license back. I'm fully in my life. As a matter of fact, my son just graduated from a program in Costa Rica, and I went and spent a month there with him, and we went zip lining through the jungle. And that is not something I would have been able to do. So, the other part of the transformation that happened for me as I came into health is I came for the health transformation, and I realized that there's an entire community here. And that honestly, my story might be extreme, but it's one story after the other. And the part about getting well, I'm not a unicorn. I'm not an exception. I'm not some weird anomaly. There is really various degrees of stories just like mine, where people are finding their lives again. And so I came for the health. I stayed for the community, and the natural progression was that I have built a thriving business. I've managed to go online, and I get to help people now all over the world find this vitality. And, you don't need to be as sick as I was, and you don't need to be a practitioner to enjoy the progression through the health and the wealth transformation that we have with this company. But it's like I almost don't remember what life was like before. This is my family. This is a community of health conscious thought leaders who are dedicated, just like our owners, to helping people really transform lives, even if it takes us one gut microbiome at a time. Because, we are fat, overfed, and an undernourished population. Our impairments are inflammatory, and they run in all systems of the body, but we don't have to fall prey to this just because we're getting old. So I'm going to call BS on this. And if there's nothing else that you take from me today, and there's nothing else you take from my share today, is that you are far more capable of healing than anybody has ever taught you to believe. Your body desires to be in balance. Your body desires to be in homeostasis. It was built to get rid of the toxins. You just need to give it the right information and give the cells the right information, and they'll do all the work for you. This is what they were meant to do. So don't get old and fall prey to this common thought. Dream big, dream really big. What would you do? What would you want to do if you were given your health back? What would you do with it? I talk to people every day and they say, well, if I could just play with my son and do the dishes and not feel exhausted. And, I really want to challenge everybody. Dream bigger. People just want to get some relief, but what if we could dream bigger and it goes beyond just finding relief? I really am challenging you. So if you were fully resourced and your cells were thriving and you were reversing age, what would you do? And I bet you can do it. I'm your biggest cheerleader for that. If I can do this, and to the degree that I did it, anybody can do it. So Christina, thank you for letting me share my story. And I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody on the call join us on this reset, or if you're watching the replay, we're going to have so much fun. And I can't wait to share more with you along the way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michelle. And here's a picture of some of our community on our last retreat together. And like Michelle said, it is a lot of fun. It's incredibly fulfilling to be helping people support their health and building wealth together so that we can do amazing projects. And if you're interested in learning more about the business aspect of this, definitely get with the person who's sharing it with you to learn more. I have a very powerful story of how it completely transformed our family's financial reality and gave us the freedom and the ability to do things that we really want to be doing in this life and really ultimately fulfill our calling. So I'm going to wrap it up here by just sharing a little bit more about how you're going to be supported on this transformation journey. So depending on which person is sharing this with you, you may or may not have a Facebook group. Well, I think everybody has a Facebook group you can be added to, but there's various ones. And similar content is going to be added into them on a daily basis. Recipes and tips and helping you understand potential detox reactions, and people can cheer each other on and share their intentions, and also questions and accountability and things like that. So it's a way of shaping community. And then we have a weekly Zoom. So starting tomorrow, we're going to come on, we're going to set intentions, have cute question and answer, do a little teaching moment, and build connections in that way. So again, if you're starting with us tomorrow, awesome. And if you're starting with us in a week, beautiful. And if you're starting with us in 2 weeks, that's great too. So this will be a little bit of a rolling start, but this is the springtime and it's a powerful time to do something for yourself today that your future self will thank you for. Only transformed beings transform others. So let's walk through your personal transformation together and get back with the person who invited you to this call so you can use their special 25% discount code and start a transformation journey on the Purium lifestyle. Thank you so much, Michelle, for hosting this with me, and everybody for your participation in being here and in the chat. And if you're watching the replay, thank you.